Okay, so hello everybody. I just want to do a quick video of how to cut your pieces and really just looking at your pieces to try to determine how to lay them out well. So I have some colored background paper. So your paper is going to be a bigger piece of paper, and I believe it's going to be black. That's what I ordered. And then you're gonna have your other pieces of paper. Mine's is obviously smaller in size, but this is just a quick video. I want to show you just some ways in how to, use your details and use your backgrounds. So I have this paper here. I also have this patterned paper here that I thought was really interesting and really nice and very Afrocentric, which is culturally representative of me. I chose this very green background because it reminded me of where my mom is from in Costa Rica, which is very, very green, and there's lots of hills and lush and very earthy and natural. So this was something I thought was representative. And I also have pictures of her. I have a picture of her when she was a little girl. That's her passport picture. I have pictures of her and her siblings when they were little, before they came to the United States. Years before they came to the United States, I have a picture of my grandmother, who is the reason why everyone is here in the United States. And I also have a map of Costa Rica. So I'm gonna be cutting these out, and I'm just gonna have you guys watch as I cut these pieces out, and then we will put them together. So I cut pretty quick, and this shouldn't really take that long. And I like to cut very close because you want to get as many details as possible, but you also don't want to have a lot of edges left over of the, paper or magazine that you're pulling your pictures out of. So you want to cut as close as you can to the actual image that you want. And for me, I want to keep the whole map because the whole map actually works. It has, the name of the country here as the name of the country here. And then this particular area right here is where my mom is from. So I want to make sure I keep that intact with the whole piece. So that's that one piece. My picture of my grandmother, I consider this to be like a detailed piece. So I actually just want to cut her out and leave all the background. So I'm going to cut this one very close and then when you're cutting these, you want to take your time when you're getting all the small details. And you don't have to move the scissors. You can keep the scissors in your hand nice and steady and move the paper around. And when you move the paper around, it's easier to get around all those little edges on all those little pieces. And obviously I've been doing this much longer, but that's my tip as to the best way to get these small details cut and done. And it's not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna get all over here because she has a lot of curly hair, but I'm gonna get most of it. But I made sure that I got the details of her. Okay, and then cut a nice edge, and boom, there you go. Okay, those are those. Again, with these, I want to cut them and leave the background. I don't need the background. So I'm gonna cut it very close to their bodies with just a little bit of edge around them. And I'm moving the paper with my one hand and keeping my scissors very still with the other hand. That way it helps me to get around the rounded edges and the corners. And it helps me to keep most of the details of my piece. And if you ever find the papers anyway, cut that off and then come back in and keep going. My other piece. Okay. And then this is going to be the centerpiece, because this is probably the most important piece to me, is my mom's passport photo, and I want to use that almost like right in the middle of my whole collage. I want to keep as many details as possible with this. So I'm just cutting right around the edges, keeping the whole rectangular picture together. This. Now, sometimes you have magazine cutouts and they have these very rough edges, okay? You want to cut the rough edges off. So you just want to make a nice clean edge. Unless you're going for a rough edge look, but that's a different type of technique. And, you know, usually it takes you a little bit of time to determine that. Okay. But this is another one of my detail pieces. It's a large piece, but it's still a detail piece. And I like the round edge of this. So that's why I'm cutting around and getting all this extra white away from it, just so I can get the details of just this piece by itself. And I have a nice rounded green piece. And all right, so that's it. So when you're looking at this, you want to look at all the pieces that you have. So you want to put your big pieces together, right? And you want to put your really smaller, more detailed pieces to the side. And you're working with your big pieces first, and then you come and get these other small detail pieces, right? So I have this really, really big piece, right? And I want this to be somewhere where you can really see it. So I think maybe right about here, I kind of like that, right? And things will move around. You're not always gonna keep things in the same place, right? This is just to see what things look like first. I did say I wanted my mom's passport photo to be in the middle. And actually, let me turn it this way so you can see it. Sorry. Right? So I have this piece here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it here, but I kind of like it where it is, right? And then I have the passport photo in the middle. The map, right? My map has to go somewhere on this piece. And I can either keep it on top of this, or if I like this better and I really want this to stand out, I'll put it right on top of it. You can still see the map. You still see the country of Costa Rica. Some of it is cut off a little bit, you know, like Guanacaste in this little corner here, but it's okay. Because for me, it's important that you see Limon, Costa Rica, because that is where my mom is from. So I can keep the map like this and be okay with it, right? And this is what it looks like so far, right? I have this really big piece. I thought it was an interesting piece, but it might be too big because I have these other big pieces. So I don't think I need this right now, or if I need it at all. So I'm just gonna put this aside because I don't necessarily need it, right? I have another piece here that kind of works like a background, and I thought it was interesting, so I think I might want to put it maybe in the corner somewhere. It has leaves and stuff, so it looks really good to me with the whole theme being in nature, my mom being from a country that's really lush and green and there's lots of leaves and everything. And now I can start to put some of my detail pieces. So these make it really, 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 you know, this is where you start to fill things out, right? So I can have my grandmother over here to the side. I can have her, you know, somewhere over here. And this is about making everything start to come together, right? And you just start to lay pieces around to see which ones you like the best, how you like it, move it around, you know, see how interesting it looks with one piece on top of another piece, you know. I thought this was another good piece because it represents, like, you know, the older generations looking forward to our family moving out of the country. Okay, if you can see that. I liked this, but again, it's a bigger piece, so it may not work. It may. I can move it in, and I don't glue anything down yet because I have to lay it out first to see what I like first. And once I start like it and really picture it, then I go back and start to glue my pieces down. But right now, I'm just moving things around just to see what they look like. Okay? So I'm placing different pieces in different areas to see how it comes together. And if it comes together. And if it doesn't come together, then, you know, I know what I want to take away. Like this, I like it, but it may not work because it's kind of cutting off my mom's hair. And I don't want that to happen. I really want her picture to really stand out. But maybe I can take this piece and I can put it in a corner somewhere, right? And it can fit right above this green, right over here, and it's still interesting. And then I have these, you know, I picked these pieces because they were colorful. They remind me of different plants. And, you know, my grandmother was into plants. So I want to represent her, you know, being someone who's into plants. And, you know, I could put the flower here in her hair. I could put the flower here, you know, and I still have everything all together. So now that I have my collage kind of placed where I want it, I would then take this and I would glue this down. So I just want you to see a little bit better